Good morning, students. It's me, Miss Tanya, and today we are back with another lesson. As you all know that we have started General Ayub Khan in the previous lecture, so today we are taking a start with Decade of Development. I have selected this topic for today because there were multiple MCQs along with question answers which were included in the previous paper. So I am going to focus much more onto this SLO. Well, General Ayub Khan era is known as Decade of Development. If you will write decade of development in the Google bar, so definitely you're going to find things related to General Ayub Khan contribution, his era, and what he did for Pakistan, and every each and every details about General Ayub Khan. So, according to this word, decade of development, he is famous for his reforms. And another word of reforms is known as decade of development. It means that what were those reforms which were introduced by General Ayub Khan into his era. So let's move forward. Hurry up, grab your notebook along with pencil and pen and start noting the important pointers. And yes, you're already familiar with the other guidelines. Starting with the decade of development, the period of General Ayub Khan started from 1958 till 1968. Now, when we talk about 1958, as you all know that before Ayub Khan, General Sikandar Mirza was basically leading Pakistan, and Sikandar Mirza, after Sikandar Mirza, Ayub Khan replaced him. So, in October 1958, Sikandar Mirza imposed martial law. Sikandar Mirza was removed from the office and Ayub Khan became president of Pakistan. Well, I have already explained you the term martial law in detail, but let me give you a quick guideline about that, what exactly this terminology means. When we talk about martial law basically means that it is the military rule, military is taking over your country. The basic reason that why military take over, when your country is nearer to collapse, then military take over, and military stay into your country. Military look after each and every matter until and unless the situation of your country is not improved. When there is martial law, then we are not importing or exporting any product, we are not maintaining relations with the other countries. You can say like that the country goes 10 years back, and you can also say that until and unless our conditions are not improved, we are not making or we are not doing anything with the international world. So this is basically what martial law means. And yes, one more thing, martial law can only be imposed by the military people. Martial law can never be imposed by any civilian. Now, coming towards the next part, Sikandar Mirza, as I've already told you, that he was removed and then General Ayub Khan took over the powers. And yes, one more thing, whenever we are selecting a president or prime minister of a state, so definitely we do look at the previous background as well. The previous background, it basically includes that how much the other person is successful. So Ayub Khan's era started from 1958 and 1969, and then his era is famous for the decade of development. The 1960s stand out as the decade with the best performance. It was General Ayub Khan's era. Growth rate in 1960s were high in all sectors. Agriculture, GDP means a gross domestic product, manufacturing commodities, producing sectors and service sectors. So you can say that the growth rate was high. It means whatever reforms were introduced by General Ayub Khan, it was a boost up for all of those people who were living over there. And these are basically the concluding parts that where there was a boost up. So the growth in excess of 20% per annum. Capitalist economy and private sectors play significant role. So you can say that we were having capitalist economies. Well, when I talk about the term capitalist, then capitalist basically means that those economies which are having money into their hand. And private sector. Private sector means that all of those government sectors are basically known as private sectors who are working for the cities, who are working for the internal part of your country. So all of them play a very important role. Controversial decade for the type of economic policy pursued. It means that according to the decade, the type of policy which were selected for this, The economic policy, it means the money policy, was overlooked, and it was concerned, and it was the steps which were taken to make out this policy, they were much more concerned as compared to any other thing. Then income inequality, 5 million people fell below the poverty line. So you can see that 5 million people, they fell below the poverty line. They didn't rise up, but yes, they fell below. Exchange rate was overvalued means that exchange rate was boosting up into his era, and then economic growth in general Ayub Khan, it just rise up. So starting with the first reform, that is land reform, a land reform commission appointed in October 1958. Now, when I say about the term commission, commission basically means that you are discussing about that what can be done further into the land reforms, and in land reforms you are basically deciding that how much land would be divided among all of those people who are living over there, right? And then the commission submitted its report within 3 months. By suggestions of commissions, it were announced. Now, whenever we talk about that we are about to take a start with something, then definitely we have to give our idea as a project that we are finally about to execute this thing. And when that idea is accepted by the government officials, then finally they declare, and they say that finally we are ready for execution. So this is how exactly the system works. The main feature of land reforms were that no person would own. Kindly just underline these two lines because it can be included as a part of MCQ. There were multiple MCQs with these two lines which were made into the previous papers of Alhan board. And even it is important for the other board examinations as well. No person would own more than 500 acres of irrigated or 1,000 acres of unirrigated land. So it was stated clearly into that no person can have the land more than 500 acres or unirrigated or irrigated more than this. So they have already told you about the numbers because at that time when finally we came to Pakistan, so at that time we were having so many people who have migrated to the newly independent state. So we were already suffering from economic problems, political problems, and social problems. And yes, we all were dependent upon agriculture. So you can say that there were farmers in the majority, but the lands were limited. So this is the main reason that we have divided the land among them with numbers so that everyone can contribute and everyone can basically contribute in the establishment of the country. The resumed land would be assigned to existing tenants for sale, and then the leftover land would be given to the tenants. Tenants are basically the rental people that you are giving them on rent, and then whatever profit they're getting at the end, so the profit is divided between the government and yes, those people. Okay, then occupancy tenants would become full owners. The occupancy tenants, it means that those who have occupied the land, they will actually be the full owners of that land. The big landowners did not suffer any eclipse in the political power, and they were able to transfer some of their wealth and savings to investment in industry. So what they did, those who were already having money into their hands, so they haven't suffered these economic crisis. Whatever profit they got in return, so they have, to double those profits, they have invested in industrial sectors. But once again, I repeat, when we migrated and when we came to the newly independent state, at that time, people who migrated to Pakistan, they were having their basic necessity things along with them, the basic belongings. It means that it doesn't include those property papers, obviously, because they have handed over those things to Qaeda Azam when they came over here. And then it required a period of time, about months, a couple of months, to decide that how the things will be divided among people. So you have to keep this point into your mind. Then a youth's land reform attempted to enhance the status of the tenants. Tenants could not be ejected without payment of appropriate compensation. So when you are dividing the profit among the landlord is the one who's owning the land, and tenant is the one who is coming onto that land on rental basis. So The profit is divided among both of them, and yes, you have to pay the taxations as well. Then only you're allowed to stay onto that land, otherwise, you're not allowed to stay on that land. Then in industrial reforms, there were other things which have happened as well. Ayub Khan introduced industrial reforms to give a boost to the economic productivity. Obviously, we were much more concerned and focused on economic reforms and agricultural reforms as well. Then we also wanted to focus on industrial reforms for the establishment of our society. It means that we cannot only rely just on one asset to boost up our economy. Industries play a very important role. That's why we were focusing on this element as well. According to policy, following steps were taken. Number one, prices of industrial goods were stabilized through price mechanism, which relaxed the control over industrial investments and trade. It means that prices of those products, goods basically means the products which you want to be utilized into those industries. So investment, you cannot say that it was completely cheap, but you can say that it was bearable, that those investors who were investing onto that project, they can industries and products, they can the investment is bearable for both of them. Then government removed the constraints on profit margin and prices. It means that the constraints were removed on profit margins and prices, so that everyone can easily compensate, and everyone can easily take profit from that. This is the main reason that constraints were removed, that we were keeping everyone on the same page. New industries were given tax holdings, and extra income equals to 3,000 was declared tax free. It means that if you're opening up a new industry, so till 3,000 the taxations you don't have to pay, and rest of the thing which is left, only that thing would be paid by you. Then in industrial reforms, National Investment Trust (NIT), kindly just underline these two lines. Well, these two lines are important for your board examination. So National Investment Trust was set up to attract small savings into industrial investments. It means that we were attracting small savings. You can say that it was a business of entrepreneurship that come and just highlight and tell about your business, the startup which you want, and then we will invest onto that business. Whatever you want to do, we will just support you into that objective. Domestic markets were combined so that the finished goods could travel from one area to another. The domestic markets were combined so that the finished goods which should be traveled from one place to another, it should be cheap. And if you're having good relations with the other person, then definitely it will benefit you and the others which are in surrounding as well. As a result of above steps, Pakistan industrial growth during 1958 till 1963 was highly impressive. So you can say that the contributions of General Ayub Khan when he came to power were impressive, which you can see in front of you. It was the time when Pakistan's first got an automobile industry, a cement industry, and fewer other manufacturing industries. So you can see very clearly that at that time, Pakistan got so many industries and they performed well. And yes, the backup plan or the things which were done into this era were remarkable. We are going to continue the other reforms in the next presentation. So if you want to see that what were the other contributions or what were the other reforms which were introduced by General Ayub Khan, so you have to join us in the next video. Till here, if you people are having any sort of questions, so you can ask me under my instructions on KP or either on my YouTube channel. So inshallah, we'll return back with the next part of this video. Till then, take care everyone. Barakallah and Allah Hafiz.